Hello, this is Thomas, K4SWL. If you're new here, I like to do real-time, real-life amateur radio field activation videos. And today I'm at Tuttle Educational State Forest, and like last time I was here, it's rainy. It's been raining all day long, and it's pretty chilly. It's about 43 degrees Fahrenheit. What's that, maybe 5 degrees Celsius or so, I'm guessing. Just a dreary day. It reminds me of when I lived in the UK. I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but I moved there, I think it was in early 2000, and our county in Surrey actually had some of the wettest weather there for about 3 months that they had ever had on record, or at least on record in a couple centuries or something. And there was flooding. It was kind of nasty. And I learned really quickly there that I had to kind of throw away my American attitude of when it's raining outside, I stay inside, because if I did that, I would only stay indoors all the time. So I didn't let it stop me from hiking, taking walks, going outdoors and doing things. I even shot a couple of golf balls in the backyard. Not that I'm a golfer, but I did it because I could. Our neighbor did that, and I kind of joined him. I just didn't let it stop me. And actually, I have to say that's had a very positive influence on me over the years. I just kind of enjoy being outdoors, regardless if it's raining or not. I may even go for a hike today. I'm not sure. There are some parts of the path on this particular loop that's here that are fairly slippery when it's wet. So I may not do it. I don't know. We'll see. But I know this much. I'm going to play some radio. Now, last time I was here, I set up over in this part of the shelter and had some really good luck with the Elecraft KX2 and the AX1 antenna. And that's where I'm going to set up today. It's going to be the exact same setup. In fact, I've got the Elecraft KX2 and the AX1. But I'm going to move over here to this side just to shake it up a bit, I guess. I don't expect anybody to bother me today. There's no one here at all. And I stopped by the ranger station here just to kind of let him know I'd be here. He said, have fun. You know, he didn't care what I was doing out here. I didn't have to tell him, it's all going to be set up on the table. I won't, even be shooting lines in trees or anything. He didn't care one bit. So they're very friendly here at Tuttle. And I really like this shelter. I'm not half tempted to go get some of that wood and start a fire, but I'm not going to do that. I'm sure they're saving that wood for presentations and things like that, but I kind of want to do that. It would be really nice today. But what I'm going to do instead, actually, is what I did last time, and I think I'm going to boil some water and make a cup of tea instead of coffee this time. I've got the same setup I had last time. In here, I have no idea. I haven't published the video yet where I made coffee. Maybe you guys didn't like that. Maybe you did like it. I have no idea. But I'm going to make some coffee today, or some tea today while I'm setting up again, because it's the right day for a cup of tea. It just is. I think it'll warm my bones a little bit. Yesterday, I did a soda activation on Mount Mitchell, which was a little intense. It was hovering around freezing. There was rime ice on the trees that was falling on me. And I had an absolutely insane pile up. I'm sure that video has already been published. And today it's going to be quite different. I learned from my buddy Mike that there's a major storm going on right now, actually. He said that it's a K7 right now, and all of the conditions of all the HF bands are listed as poor. So it's not the right day to use an Elecraft KX1 and an AX1 compromised antenna. It's just not the right day to do that. But it's what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to go out here and set up a large aperture wire antenna. I just don't feel like doing it. And I kind of figure, after the intensity of yesterday, I don't mind having contacts that are spaced out 5 minutes apart. I'll be happy if I get 3 contacts today. I have no expectations of it being a valid activation or anything. K7 is pretty darn bad, and I will not be expecting any kind of performance out of this stuff today. So what I'll do here is try to set this up and so you can see things, hopefully. Here we go. I'll pull out my water kit. Well, I got my water here in this. Actually, I'm having to use this big thermos for water right now. My regular Nalgene bottle I have used for probably 4 or 5 years got torn up by a bear that broke into our car this past weekend. And so it was actually a weekend ago, I should say. And I didn't realize it until I dug that bottle out of the car. It kind of went under one of the seats, that the bear had tried to pry its way into the bottle and just totally ruined the bottle. So it was a casualty of black bear that really wanted my water bottle for some reason. So let's see here, we'll go ahead and set this up. There's nothing more boring than watching water boil, right? Now, I think I kind of explained this last time, so if you want to know a little bit more about this setup, just watch my last video for Tuttle Educational State Forest. I have no idea what I titled it or anything, but it'll give you more details about this setup here. Today, though, I'm going to have some tea. I think I've got some Darjeeling. I do. I got some Darjeeling, courtesy of K8RAT, Mike, actually. So, Mike, I don't know if you'll be watching this video, but thank you so much. I will enjoy this. Okay, so I think I'll be able to get away without using a windscreen today, but if the flame's blowing all around, then I'll maybe have to pull out the windscreen as I do this. The flame burns so cleanly you can barely see it, but it's there. I may end up drinking out of this big mug this time. I want to make a fairly large mug. Yeah. I think I'll just drink straight out of this stainless steel mug this time instead of putting it in my Snow Peak titanium mug. K4SWL channel where you get to watch water boil. It's pretty much ensured that I will never be YouTube, any kind of YouTube fame with the type of videos I produce. But hey, I appreciate you coming along for the ride. Let's see here. Okay, that is going fine. That is going fine. So what I'll do is set up the radio. Try to set this up so you can see a little bit better. Ugh. I'm looking into better tripods and things to improve the experience. I'm also sort of kind of looking into a better way to record audio when I'm doing my activations. All of it requires a little extra work in post-edit, but yeah, okay, that's fine. Oh, I will show you one really cool thing. I bought this last week. It is the FT60R HT. I went, I took my FT2D HT on a soda activation, it was about 4 weeks ago, and Standing Indian, and I started to use it to make a contact and realized it was in some kind of digital mode, and I'm a digital mode klutz. I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to all these digital modes, system fusion or whatever it's called. And I wasn't able to make a contact, and I wasn't able to get it out of digital mode, and I already had the contacts I needed, so I just kind of put it away. And we have these FT60Rs, or FT60s, in our family. I bought these for my daughters. Each one of them has one. My wife, she actually has the Yaesu, is it the VX3R? We all have those as well, actually, little tiny radios. I decided to get myself one primarily for soda. I know that I could use APRS here, but I found in the mountains in North Carolina, I have less access to APRS digi repeaters and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm just going to take this along. These are dead simple, and numerous people had recommended this particular model, and since we've standardized on them in the household, and I have RT Systems software, programming software, I can just clone all of them to look, to have the exact same memories and everything. So it works out really well. I like this radio though. Very sturdy as well. Now let's see here. I'll get out the KX2. I don't want the flame hitting anything here. This is one of the things about this is the flame does lick around, but I don't think it's windy enough I need to bother putting up the windscreen. This little windscreen does work really, really well though, and it would help right now for it to boil a little faster, but I got plenty of fuel. I don't mind. I'm just going to let it do its thing. There we go. And again, this is sort of insulated on the bottom, so it's not going to burn the picnic table at all. My other ones were not so much, and probably would have. I wasn't able to use them on surfaces like this. So what I'll do, I'm only planning to run 40 meters today, and the reason why is I think that conditions will be much worse on the higher bands when we have these kind of geostorms and things. So I'm just going to go for the 40 meter band. So I'll use my 40 meter extension with the AX1 antenna. I'll use my 40 meter counterpoise. And I'm not going to plan to hit 30 or 20 or 17 meters today. This will just have to do. But again, I should say, don't do what I'm doing, okay? This is a day that you want to put up a large aperture, resonant, efficient wire antenna because you want all the signal you can get. At least that's my theory. You want all the signal you can get on a day when conditions are this poor. But I don't want to be out in the rain doing that right now. When I typically put an antenna in a tree when it's raining like this, I get drenched from, disturbing the limbs and all this water falls down. I'm not in the mood for that today. I'm more in the mood for tea and shelter. And just keep in mind, like a lot of parks have shelters like this, and I could deploy all kinds of antennas in a shelter. It's so large. So I'm gonna string out this 40 meter. Counterpoise. This will take me a moment here. Try to work some of the memory out of the wire. Make it straighter. Off camera. In theory. Here, I'll show you this real quick. You can see what I did here. So I put the counterpoise here with the end, and it's running down here on the concrete. This concrete is not wet or anything. And you can see it's all kind of zigzaggy from the memory of winding it, but you know what? I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think it'll tune up just fine. But now I probably could lay it outside. That may even help a bit with the antenna's performance. Maybe I'll do that if we just have terrible, terrible luck. We'll see. Well, we got a nice flame going there. Let's see. Mount the antenna. Put these sections together. This is the 40 meter extension. we go. I'll put the whip on here. I think this is my new whip I used last time. And the tip of it, yeah, the tip of it's a little nicer. Let's see, I won't extend that all the way yet. I'll get the radio out first. And someone asked me recently when they watched the video, they wanted to know how I attach the counterpoise to the KX2. So basically when Elecraft made the KX2, they assumed that you would put a counterpoise in here. And that's what I do is I squeeze it in between this part of the bottom section that comes off so that you can replace out the battery. And that there's like a bare area in there that makes nice contact with the chassis of the radio. If I can do this without burning the jacket of the wire in the flame over here. I just screw it down really nicely, and I usually point it so that it's pointed out this way because I'll put up the leg here in the back. You do have to watch out. I just posted a video actually of an activation I did at Lake James where I deployed this antenna system, and this wire was laying on the ground, and since it's directly connected to the radio and it's just kind of invisible when it's on the ground. It's not on the concrete floor, but if it were out here among the leaves, you would never see it. I accidentally tripped on it and yanked the radio off the table. That is one thing you have to deal with. You can put some strain relief in here and like tie it around something if you want to, if you're worried about that or you're worried about somebody else tripping on it by accident. But, you know, I think my lesson's learned. Hopefully I won't do that again. The radio survived that nicely. It had no problem at all. I did get like a little bit of scratching along the top up here, but not too bad. There we go. Straighten this out. I'm feeling the heat off that. There we go. Let me make sure that's actually out all the way. Yeah. There we go. Got to get all the antenna I can out of this little radio and this little system. Also, people I think wonder if this will cause any sort of strain on the BNC connector. Elecraft will be quick to tell you that they designed this antenna connector around the idea of a fair amount of stress, so it's not a problem at all. Not a problem. Now I did use this, I ended up using this radio a little bit during the activation yesterday. Oh, what key to use? You know what? Oh, do I have my... Let's see if I've got my N0SA paddles with me. Yeah, I do. That's what I'll use. That is what I'll use today. So likely, I will find a frequency and just kind of stay there the whole time for the entire activation. I haven't pre-prepared anything other than I did submit the activation on the POTA network. So I'll write this out. Wish I had a darker pencil with me. Hopefully you can read this. think this is K4861. Yes. K4861. Today is November 4th, 2021. And let's see, we're going to be 40 meters CW, and what is the time? So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So about 1600 UTC. So I gotta remember to send good afternoon now instead of good morning, which I could easily do. I often forget that. You probably saw even in my last video that I'll often get that incorrect when I'm sending. I'll send good morning when it's the afternoon and good afternoon when it's the morning. It's quite easy to do. This is coming along nicely. What I'll do is probably bring this to a boil, steep this for about 4 minutes, and I'll just use this as my coaster, actually. The one thing about it is these little standoffs here, they do get very, very hot, and you got to be careful with those. They will burn you if you try to grab them. Not that I speak from experience or anything. I speak from experience. Okay, let's see. So, we'll probably be doing a lot of CQ calling today. Ooh, 1.9 to 9. That's not quite as good as I normally get. Try that again. The ATU and the KX2, if you press the ATU button a second time, within 5 seconds of doing your first tune, it'll go through a wider range to try to match a little bit better. Let's see. What I'll try to do is maybe extend the antenna in a different direction, or the counterpoise in a different direction. Let me give that a go. And let me make sure this is attached properly here. I can probably get a little bit better. There we go. I can probably get a little bit better match than that. I'm going to move the counterpoise to the other side here. There we go. Maybe if we move it, it'll do a little bit better. Again, being careful not to trip on the wire itself. Okay, here we go. Let's see if it does any better now. Excuse me. One to one. Okay, whoops. One thing you do have to watch out with is this actually provides for a really nice base of this cup, but if you jar your table too much, you could knock it off. It's a little top heavy, of course. And so with the AX1, I have found this in the past, that's what I just discovered now. Sometimes just moving your counterpoise will have all the difference in the world with what kind of impedance match it finds. 1.9 to 1 is not bad. I mean, it could totally operate with that. But why not try to get 1 to 1 if you can, right? Oh, I need to set up the Hammers app. Let's do that while my water boils. I've got no service here right now, so hopefully I'll get spotted. But with conditions the way they are, I don't know. But again, this is more about just having fun today. I'd rather be doing this than sitting in a car, doing anything else. Okay, so I'm putting in my information here. 11, and today is the 4th. Ooh, forgot to put in the park number. K4SWL at K-. 4861. 2021 11. Whoops, I got one extra one in there, I think. 1104. And tell it I want parks on the air. And it took it. Click save. And then I go in here and put in the frequency 7.063. 5 watts of output power. My park is K-4861. Mode is single sideband. And I should be ready to go. I hope I can get 3 today. That would be nice. My tea is almost ready. It is starting to boil. I think I'm actually going to bring it all the way to a boil. Some of my British friends may be able to tell me if Darjeeling is supposed to be put into a boiling, brought up to boiling or not. I will have to take this off in order to put out this flame, actually, come to think of it. Let's see here. So I'll probably use something else. I think you know what I'll do is I'll use I'm going to use my clipboard as a sacrificial. There we go. This is boiling nicely now, so before I start calling CQ, I'm going to go ahead and do my tea. Let's see. Put this in. And they'll probably burn this a little bit, I don't know. But I forgot, I need to take this off because I've got to remove this. There we go. And grab this cap, throw it on top, put out the flame, and there we go. I'll wait to screw that on a little tighter a little bit later. That is pretty hot. Not hot enough to burn this, but even though there's not a lot of mass to this, it's very, very thin titanium pieces. You'll feel it on your fingers, for sure. Let's see. It's not making a place on here. Somebody count 4 minutes for me, okay? That's about how long I think I'll let this steep. Okay, let's get back to the radio now. Sorry, this is probably going to be a very long video. First of all, I'll probably be on the air forever trying to make contacts. But I'm not going to stay here forever because I need to get back to my home today, because I think my new to me Argonaut 5 will be arriving. Excuse me. I think it'll be arriving today, so I want to be there for that. Here we go. Let's let the radio do all the work. I really do have to keep my expectations in today. I'm not joking about that. Conditions like this, you just cannot expect stellar performance. It's just not going to happen no matter what antenna you use. I think it'll be interesting to see. I've got a little working theory that maybe antennas like the AX1 do okay during conditions like this, because I tend to get a lot of really close-in contacts, like people within North Carolina where I'm operating here. It almost acts like a NIVIS antenna, and maybe it's not using propagation, the same, doesn't need that sort of skip that you'd normally want with propagation. I don't know. It's probably, I'm not an antenna theory guy, as you can tell, In fact, I've got a motto. In fact, I just started a draft post about this. It may be published by the time this is out there, but where I say, you know, my motto is less theory, more practice. Just go out and try stuff. Requires so little energy to just try things, and just try instead of worrying about. Okay. Okay. You heard how quiet the N9 JF was. Can you hear me? Oh, he's so down in the noise right now. 559's generous, but he can probably hear that easier. Okay. I hear him now. Okay. take my tea bag out. Good to get you in there, Mike. Oh, this tea is great. I hope wherever you are, you're getting a nice cup of tea or coffee. That wasn't a bad run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holy cow. I wasn't expecting that, really. That may be W8, WR calling back because they didn't hear the end of the exchange. Good. Sometimes you have to repeat it a couple times because of the fading from everything being so disturbed. Okay. See how he came up so much. Massachusetts. Whoops. Okay. Okay. Ah. I got you, Scott. Holy cow. So I got 12 contacts, but I think one of those is a duplicate, so really it's 11. So in what, 10 minutes, I completed the activation. I was not expecting that today. This tea is so nice. I hope you're enjoying a nice hot beverage wherever you are. Let's go ahead and call CQ again. Hopefully you don't hear me slurping in the background. I should hit my rate button and lock that. Everybody always tells me that, and it's true. I should do that, and I never think to do it. Okay, let me do that now. Wait. You have to hold it longer. There we go. Now it's locked. Okay. I could not be more pleased with this antenna. Golly, I just can't. I mean, I really thought I'd be struggling. I'm not joking. I really thought I'd be struggling with this. I say it each time I take this antenna out. I have low expectations, and it always just completely exceeds my expectations. But it's just so handy, and I mean, it's only like, if you look at the size of this antenna, it's it's not tall, and we're under a metal roof. You know, and these are crappy conditions today. I'm here to tell you, it's you know, this is not a good day to be playing radio, and you can tell by the stations that have been coming back, and they'll be really weak, and then they come back super strong, and vice versa. Weak stations, if they're just weak, they can just disappear completely, and that's what happened before with W8WR. Now, it's possible that W8WR came back with more power or a different antenna, and they were just much stronger for that reason, but it's also quite likely, let me move this up a little bit, sorry. Now, while I'm thinking about it, I'll seal up my alcohol burner, put the top back on it, put it back in its cup. So I suspect it'll slow down a bit now. Probably people have worked me that could hear me, or the conditions took a tank. They sorry, I missed the first. I missed something there. There we go. Okay. Okay, hang on a second. We'll just start from the beginning. Okay. I think it's NX. Okay, got him. Okay. Okay. Okay, got him. What happened to you, K1JSM? This is what happens when you have these conditions. Okay, well, we'll go back up to 19 words a minute. 18 words a minute, maybe. I could drink some tea. Man, this has far exceeded my expectations today. Ah, yes. Good to get you in the logs. K3ES, where's K9IS and WB1LLY? They're usually in here too. I hope they're okay. I actually had a friend, my friend Monty, I was talking to him last night, and he said, WB1LLY is always in your logs, isn't he? And I was like, yeah, you know, it's kind of funny too, because he is in Georgia, which is not always the easiest on 40 meters from North Carolina. But he's almost always in there. And of course, he has a very recognizable call sign. How many do I have so far? 20. I can't believe this. It's just insane. This is insane. Why do I hang wires in trees anyway? I've got the MFJ antenna I'm going to try too soon. I can't think of what the number of the model is. Is it like an 1899 or something? MFJ is a sponsor of QRP.com and of the SW Welling Post, and I asked him, I've had so many requests for that antenna, including my buddy WD8RIF, and so I said, well, can you send me one of those so I can just try it out? And he said, sure. And so they've sent me one, but I haven't had a chance to use it yet, mainly because I've been gone so much, but I do have it. I've read up on it, and the funny part is I used to have that exact same antenna under a different manufacturer when I lived in the UK. I bought that antenna along the same time I bought my FT817, right after these came out on the market in probably, 2000 or 2001. Okay, I think I got that right. Did I get that right? So 339, yeah. Just put some water in my cup. And I'll toss it out here with all the other water. I'm going to call it quits here in just a second. That'll get me home a good time. I have, let's see, 23 contacts. Probably one of those is a dupe. What POTA considers a dupe. I'll do one final call here. Let's see if we can get anybody off this. There we go. I'll turn this off before I hear anybody else. I think I worked everybody I could work then. This was pretty incredible, actually. Looking down through this list. I mean, that's... So, let's see. I had a valid activation in 10 minutes. I mean... I swear this antenna is trying to make a liar out of me. But, the conditions were bad. You could tell they were bad by just how strong people would be, then how weak they would be, and how weak people would be strong after, you know, when you get those sorts of things, you know that conditions are disturbed and very unstable. And that happens. But don't let it stop you from getting out. And obviously, even a compromised antenna will do okay on a day like today where the K is 7. I'm very happy with this. So, yeah. I see that I'm running a fairly long video at this point, so I'm going to hop off here and try to keep this video as short as I can. But thank you so much for joining me today for some tea and some some radio. I really appreciate it. I think that I don't know if I'm going to go for a hike or not. I may just kind of go for a walk when I get back to my house today. It was snowing up at our house, which is at about 1,000 meters above sea level or so. We got some snow last night. I was seeing sort of the beginnings of that yesterday in Mount Mitchell as that little system moved in. But it's not a lot of snow. I think we had just sort of a light dusting, maybe up to an inch of snow. But tonight's Star Trek night with my family. My daughters really love Star Trek, and my wife does too. I certainly do. So we're going to watch a little Star Trek, probably Enterprise tonight, I think. And yeah, it's going to be a nice night to have the wood stove going, and it'll be nice and warm and cozy inside. I'll probably have yet another cup of tea when I get home, and maybe a nice oatmeal porter if I've got one in the fridge. I'm not sure. A little bit later on. But don't let the rain stop you from going out and enjoying, you know, the field and taking your radios into the field. Honestly, you can always find a way around rain. I just posted a video this morning, actually, from Lake James, and I had planned to go under a shelter and do an activation, but the shelter was in use. This couple they had their stuff all strung up in there trying to dry it out because they got caught in the rain, evidently, when they were camping, and they took over the entire shelter, and I didn't want to bug them. I let them just kind of do their thing. And so I went out and just set up at a picnic table in between rain bands, and I was able to time it where I didn't get wet or anything, and that worked out. But you can always take like a tent or a little rain fly. I've got a rain fly that goes with my hammock that I could put over a picnic table if I wanted to, and it'd keep me pretty dry and keep my radio equipment dry if I wanted to. You could set up a tent or a little shelter of some sort, of course. But of course, the easiest thing to do is most facilities, most parks and things, at least in North Carolina, have at least one shelter like this. Some of them actually have little small shelters over picnic tables. So it's very easy to do. But it kind of amazes me to sit back and look at such a modest system, just this little tiny HT-sized transceiver, this little tiny antenna with a wire strung out along the ground here, and know that, you know, that's made contacts all over this half of the U.S. I think I remember Minnesota up into Vermont, down to Florida, Kansas. What else do I remember from them? I mean, there were a lot of stations out there, so it's kind of fun to do this, even when conditions are really, really crappy. Like I said, less theory, more practice. Don't worry about theoretically what may go on when you go out. Just go try it. It's just there's so little effort involved in doing this, and it yields so much fun. Don't let anyone tell you you can't go out and play radio someday. Just go do it anyway. Anyway, thank you again so much. I really appreciate you coming along for the ride today and doing this activation with me. And stay tuned if you like. If you like what you see here, which will surprise me if you do, but if you do, feel free to click subscribe below and hit the like button if you don't mind. I don't monetize this channel. I don't have advertisements or anything in the that are running. I mean, you'll notice that there's no advertisers interrupting your video, and that's because I turn those things off. I just don't believe in having them in a video like this. So if you feel like supporting me, you can. I have links to Patreon and my coffee fund below in the description. Don't feel like you have to do that. If you're saving up for your first radio or for a second or third radio, don't worry about supporting me. I'll be here anyway. If you feel like supporting me, though, I really do appreciate it. It helps pay for all my outings and gear that I review and things I test and all that. It also goes into our travel fund as a family. So the whole family gets enjoyment out of it. Again, thank you so much, and until next time, 7 threes.